Hi, everybody. This is Steve Kodad. I'm recording this again, for the first time, so that a few people had missed it. So this is just a re-recording. This was not from last night. But anyway, I do appreciate greatly you registering for the 20 minutes of Feng Shui with Steve, number one. And I hope you're going to join me every first and third Wednesday of each month. Uh, the next session will be put up actually today. So go ahead and register for that if you would. And so anyway, let's go ahead and get started so I catch you up. Now, this is what the picture looked like for actually registering. And anytime to go to the Zoom event that I was conducting, you have to click on this. So however you get here, whether you hit event on LinkedIn and go to the events and then find the correct one or follow whatever was generated by LinkedIn, you need to click on this link. All right. Again, my name is Steve Kodad. I'm the co-owner of the Intrinsic School of Feng Shui with my partner, Lisa Alban. I am a national real estate presenter for state associations and franchises, and I've had the honor of speaking all over the country on Feng Shui in Las Vegas, Atlantic City, Boston, Dallas, Fort Worth, and so forth and so forth. So I don't get on planes much anymore, so I do most of my stuff now on Zoom. I'm a I'm a red ribbon feng shui master, which is the highest level with our governing board, the International Feng Shui Guild, and I'm an author of several books on the same topic. Our topic today is going to be on comfort, and I don't know that there's anything that's more important for our homes than being comfortable. This might represent comfort to you. As for me, it looks really nice. But I even have another example here that might even be more to your liking. I have a little rescue. That's not my dog. That's not my wife either. But I love what that dog brings to my life, and I'm sure that probably some of you out there have an animal that actually adds to your comfort. Quick definitions of comfort from the dictionary: enjoying contentment and security, and free from stress or tension. I think all of those are good ways of putting it. I make sure when I do talk to my classes that I explain to them that really feng shui has a domino effect. And for it to work, you have to take care of each step individually. So, for example, in this case right here, security, and I'm talking about security on a subconscious level, actually brings about comfort, which is, again, extremely important to us. And once we have comfort, we're very comfortable in our environment, a lot of really good things then can happen. We're more successful in all ways. We're more creative. We're healthier. We do better at work. So we're going to be taking care of the security part of it on the next Wednesday that we meet. But again, I need to stress this. You have to take care of each step seriously and make it right first before you move on to the next thing. So again, we'll be taking care of the idea of security on a subconscious level next time. Now, feng shui is an art or science created primarily in South China, where the topology really worked with respect to coming up with this philosophy. A lot of mountains and a lot of water. The words stand for wind and water. Feng is wind, shui is water. And what makes that important to y'all is that it's really the two major ways of moving energy around our planet. There are several very important concepts that you're going to be introduced to if you keep showing up every Wednesday. But this is the first one, and it has to do with what you see in that picture. We want to make sure that, again, we come off as feeling secure and comfortable in a setting. Thousands of years ago, this is the kind of setting that people would look for to put their home so that they could actually feel safe and secure and therefore succeed in life. So the idea is more of what we call the armchair effect, or the classic armchair. So that mountain that you see to the left, that would be perfect in at least one sense. They would move their house or build their house about a third to halfway up that mountain, never to the top, as you'll find out as we go into more and more of these sessions. So about a third of the halfway up, therefore supporting their back, making them feel like nobody can really basically sneak up on them that way. That was only one of the components they were looking for. They were also looking for what was on the left and to the right-hand side of that site, of that mountain. They wanted to make sure that they also had smaller hills or maybe trees that were supporting them on those sides and protecting them to some degree too. This is sort of like the armrests. So they had support too. That wasn't enough. So they kept looking and looking until they found that, but they also found this, that they had the ability to see a long way in front. Thousands of years ago, this made a heck of a lot of sense, because if they could see that there were more people coming their way, they had no idea what their agenda might be. So they wanted to be able to protect themselves. They wanted to have reaction time. So either they're going to get out their weapons, you might say, to protect themselves. They might hide. They might run away. But if they had enough time to react, because they could see them coming, it made them be more successful. They had a better shot of spending their days in a very positive way. So this concept, which I refer to as the classic armchair, is used both inside and outside of a home, an office, any environment at all. Classic armchair. So you're going to hear me use the word mountain again, but again, the word mountain is just a symbolic term. So attraction and protection are very important. And we're going to start talking about the classic armchair now with respect to your yard. Your front yard must show wow, must turn heads, and must attract attention. By doing that, it's also bringing in energy into your house. So if it doesn't look too good, it doesn't help you. So we're looking for as much color and contrast as we possibly can. So if your yard's shabby, it's not going to get your fair share of energy into the house. The sides, the armrests, they need to also support. And a lot of folks really sort of don't even think about the sides. They neglect the sides of the house. So I hope you get out of this that you should take a good look at both the left and the right side of your house. Here's a particular picture on the side of a house that gives you an idea. Those are Leland cypresses on the right-hand side between that house and the neighbors, and it protects them, sure, but it also gives them privacy. It makes it a much more enjoyable way to spend their daily existence. And here's another one. So these people decided to dress up their side even more so it's therefore more usable. A lot of the sides of our houses are not terribly usable. They're just you might say, a way to pass between the front to the backyard. And then again, the backyard has our mountain, our protection, our support, and also adding a great deal the idea of privacy. And when that does not exist, we're not as comfortable in our house. Now, in Florida, we do not have mountains. A lot of the places that you live don't have mountains. Again, the word is a symbol. So what we do in Florida and what you probably will be doing is using landscaping or fences or walls. If you pick up a feng shui book, you're going to probably see this symbolism here. This is the classic armchair, how they actually present it. You notice the house in the middle. Behind it is the mountain, which is represented symbolically by the black tortoise. The armrests, which protect the left and right side, are represented by the white tiger and the green dragon. And then finally, representing to be able to see for a long, long distance, to see what's coming your way, whether it's opportunity or a problem, is the phoenix. So again, I'm going to show you a few pictures of representing the mountain right now. Here's one way that some people did it, okay? And here's my Leland cypresses again. I liked using these, especially because they also add a little bit more privacy between the houses. Another example. So many ways to do this. Some of them are a little bit more, you might say, attractive than others. And then finally, so again, you can just do it by using landscaping in a way. And you need to understand that if you don't have it, you don't have the total security feeling that you really want. You want your back protected at all times. Now, probably a lot of you have at one time or another possibly purchased or had a house built. And one of the things that was sort of a turnoff for a lot of folks, especially when it was a mass builder who came in and knocked down every tree, is that there was no protection in behind it. That is always a problem. So whether it's being constructed or whether it's already been finished, if you don't have that extra protection behind you, you do feel it subconsciously, and therefore it minimizes your security. It minimizes your feeling of joy with respect to living there. And many subdivisions look just like this. You notice there are two of them that have some fences up, so they've created some extra form of security and a mountain. But these other houses have never bothered to do that. And therefore, their privacy is minimal, if at all. And secondly, they don't feel that support on a subconscious level. There's another example of it. So it's very, very common. But you want to help a client if you're in real estate. You want to help yourself if this is a personal home of yours to start creating the situation. You'll feel better. Now we come across this inside, of course, too. And some of the bedrooms that I run into do not have a solid wall behind it, behind the bed. And so this is something we try to stay away from, where we have a window behind the bed. And you can't always do that. So in this case, we want to make sure that that window comes across as being a little more solid at nighttime so that we can get a good night's sleep. This is not ideal. And if you think that's not ideal, look at this one. Certainly, this is the worst place to put the bed, up against the windows like this. So again, these are not perfectly done with the classic armchair. This one is. It's up against a solid wall. And this bedroom has been taken care of perfectly in a lot of ways. It's symmetrical. It has equality. And again, it's in the classic armchair setting. But we also see this in living rooms and in dens and stuff. And so You might have friends that come over and really don't feel particularly comfortable sitting in a situation like this, and they might not even know why. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe they don't stay as long as you would like them to. One of the reasons why is because their backs are not protected. So that's one of the things that a feng shui consultant would end up doing is to create that protection. This one's a little better for sure. There's still a little bit of a situation with that window, but not quite as much. And this is one that I run into quite a bit. You have this couch right here that's floating, which is fine, but you have to help it a little bit. You have to use some protection. So this is where when you put a table behind it, or possibly some landscaping of some sort, which would actually help to give more of a solid back to it. Now, this particular picture has some good things going for it, and then it has one thing that I want to warn you about. The couch to the left is up against a solid wall, so it is in a good position. The chair to the right is also fine, but the love seat in between them is not because it's up against the windows. When you put a piece of furniture up there, again, on a subconscious level, you feel not as protected as you want to be. And therefore, you can't really enjoy the situation as much. So I'd be moving the love seat. These people really can't possibly enjoy their lunch too much, I wouldn't think. They all have their backs to each other. Nobody knows exactly what's going on. They probably eat fairly quickly. They probably leave as fast as possible. So that's not ideal. So whenever you go to a restaurant, for example, and whoever meets you at the door and say, "We're sit wherever you want to," I'm sure you probably would pick a booth to the sides, the outside. That would be the ideal situation. So this person right here is in the middle of the floor. He doesn't feel as protected as he would like to. I'm sure he's waiting for some other people. But right now, this is not ideal at all. Whereas this couple, they're in a booth. You can see they're even happier. And they have the wall to protect them. And they have more command of the particular restaurant. They can see what's going on in front of them. A lot of us at one time or another have been in a cubicle, and it's not always very comfortable. I was in a cubicle for a few years when I did work in the corporate world for 5 years at AT&T, and it was not a particularly comfortable situation. You never know what's going on behind you. So one of the cures in this way is to use something reflective. So often what I would tell them to do is to use a mirror of some sort so that they could see who or what was coming their way behind them. Now we're getting close to near the end here. We're going to do a before and after. There are several things in this picture that are not good, that are not going to make the inhabitants comfortable. This is your front door right here. And the chair that's just inside the door cannot possibly be a very comfortable setting for anybody. Can you imagine trying to sit there and read a book? Well, maybe some people can, but there's the inkling that somebody could come through that door and they wouldn't know about it very quickly. So therefore, that would need to be changed. That particular seat, chair right there. This situation up here on the top left also is a problem. You notice the chair has its back to what's going on in the room. So therefore, they're not going to be quite as productive as they'd like to be because of their positioning. So in feng shui, we would do something about that. And then finally, we have this couch up against the windows. That's going to be moved also for the usual reasons that I've already given to you. So the after is looking like this. We've moved the couch over to the mountain, the solid wall. Now it feels very protected and also has a direct view of who's coming in the door. The two chairs are moved towards the windows, but they're not flush or parallel to the windows because there's an awful lot of energy coming off those windows. So we always place them at sort of a 45-degree angle to take away some of that excessive energy. And then finally, up at the top, the chair is moved to the other side of the desk so that they therefore are much more in a command position. They can see what's in front of them, and they're going to be more productive in this way. This is a picture of a living room of a house that I worked on in South Carolina, not too far from Charlotte, North Carolina. And there are a lot of things in here that were not right. And I'm going to show you the after right now, show you what I did otherwise. But I hope you can see that there's some things in here right now that are not quite right. So the changes are not going to be covered totally in this particular recording. But you can see the chair is moved to 45 degrees in the foreground to the right. The couch was moved over to the solid wall. And now a person can actually get to the window easily and enjoy the outside, have a better idea of what is coming their way. So there's other things in there that we're going to talk about later. Now, if you're interested in training with us, we would love to have you talk to us. Here's the website, Intrinsic School of Feng Shui. And the next time that we get together, we're going to sort of keep up with the idea of creating comfort. We're now going to take care of the idea of security so that we definitely are going to feel more comfortable by correcting what are called poison arrows. Their impact can be quite a problem for people. So I appreciate you joining me. I hope this recording helps you. We will be doing this every first and third Wednesday of a month at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And at this point, I had opened it up for questions. And, I'm sorry if you missed that part of it. There were some interesting questions, and hopefully you'll register right away for the next class. And you'll find out that it's going to be very, very helpful.